Centuries before Galileo or Newton ever looked to the stars, a woman in ancient Egypt was already teaching advanced mathematics, astronomy, and philosophy to men. She was a beacon of reason in a darkening world, but her voice was brutally silenced, and her story was almost erased forever. Her name was Hypatia. Born around 360 AD in Alexandria, Egypt, a vibrant hub of the Eastern Roman Empire, Hypatia was the daughter of Theon, a renowned mathematician. In an era when women were almost universally denied education, Theon raised his daughter as his intellectual equal, training her in the rigorous disciplines of science and philosophy. It was an upbringing that was practically unthinkable for a woman at the time. By her 20s, Hypatia became a celebrated teacher at the legendary Library and Museum of Alexandria, drawing students from all corners of the empire. They came to learn astronomy, geometry, and the profound questions of Neoplatonist philosophy from a woman who commanded immense respect for her intellect alone. Hypatia championed a radical idea for the 4th century, that truth must be discovered and proven through logic and reason, not simply accepted from authority. This principle, the bedrock of her teaching, is what we now call the scientific method. She wasn't just a theorist. She improved scientific instruments like the astrolabe and wrote extensive commentaries on classic mathematical texts. By the early 5th century, Alexandria was a city in turmoil, a battleground between the old pagan philosophies and the rising, often militant power of Christianity. As a respected Neoplatonist philosopher who refused to abandon reason for blind faith, Hypatia became a symbol of the old world of intellectual freedom, and that made her a dangerous target. The newly appointed patriarch, Cyril of Alexandria, saw her immense influence over the city's elite as a direct threat to the church's growing authority. She represented a world of thought that he was determined to extinguish. The end came with shocking brutality. In March of 415 AD, as she traveled home in her chariot, a mob of fanatics, incited against her, intercepted her. They dragged the brilliant scholar through the streets, pulled her into a church, and murdered her. Her body was then burned, a horrific act intended to erase not just the woman, but the very idea she represented, free thought. Many historians see Hypatia's death as a symbolic turning point, the tragic end of the classical age of reason and the beginning of what would later be called the Dark Ages. For centuries, her name was all but forgotten, wiped from official histories. It wasn't until the Renaissance, when scholars began unearthing the wisdom of the ancient world, that her story was rediscovered. She was the first documented female scientist, a martyr for philosophy, and a powerful symbol of the eternal struggle between knowledge and dogma. Hypatia died because she taught that truth doesn't belong to any single temple, or authority it belongs to the curious. Reasoning human mind? And for that very reason, even 16 centuries later, she is a figure our world still desperately needs to remember.